What's up guys, I hope you're doing well today. The PlayStation is finally here. I'm excited to open it. And if you haven't seen my last video, I did a video about the Xbox Series X. So if you would like to see that, go ahead and see that video. I also showed the PlayStation controller in there. So without further ado, stop laughing.
I can walk out.
So without further ado, let's jump right in. I guess everybody already knows what we should go for first. So start with the PlayStation. You know, I'm even more excited about this one than I was for the Xbox. I might be a little partial, but don't massacre me down in the comments. Okay. All right. Don't worry about that. You know, this unboxing is not going as gracefully as I was hoping. This box is gigantic. So we have our controller, power cord, a couple of manuals, this is kind of heavy. So we have our mount, HDMI cord, and also this is HDMI 2.1, so you could play that 4K with the higher hertz or FPS. And here comes the big one. This is empty. Man, the place is full of cardboard boxes now. Oh boy. Okay, I can tell you for sure that this is definitely heavier than the Xbox. So I realized to you guys it looks warped. It doesn't look as good from this side, but it's beautiful. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this design, but I feel like it looks very like futuristic, kind of spaceship-like. I like it a lot. I know I like the Xbox for how like minimalist it looks, and it looks like you could put it in any corner and not notice it, but I like how this stands out, you know. Anyway, on the back right here, we have 2 USB, Ethernet, HDMI, and the power cord. And of course the Kensington lock as well, right up here. So exactly the same as the Xbox. And then from the front, we have a USB, USB-C, and then of course your buttons for the disc and your power button. It's very glossy. And I'm also excited for the faceplates. I'm guessing that Sony is going to make different faceplates for them. Like we saw some concepts online with the Spider-Man logo and everything like that. So hopefully that comes soon, so you can replace this since it's easily removable. And with that, let's move on to the accessories. Almost forgot. So for the mount, when you want to put this on your PlayStation, if you rotate it like so, you have your screw right here. So I think that I want to put it upright, so that's why we're going to be using the screw. Now, I think it's not going to fit, so we'll see. Anyway, I want to mount this for you guys to see. So while you're putting it on the bottom, you'll also notice that if you look through this hole, you have to rotate it. And now you can see through it. There you go. So that way you have to have it rotated to where this box is open so that the screw can drop through, so that way you could mount it. And this plastic piece goes towards the back of the device. Yes. So with that on, here it is. All right, so moving on to the accessories. Put that off to the side. So, we got a couple things. So one, the controller. I showed you guys that in the last video, so if you want to see that, you can go back to that video. I'll still make a video on the actual software of the controller, but for now you've already seen the controller physically. So, we'll open the remote first. So this is the streaming remote. It's basically makes it easier for you to watch things on it, since I'm going to be using it as my full overall console. That way I don't have to use the controller every time to go through my menus and everything like that. So it definitely is easier, and I'm glad they did something like this. Just thinking of all the time I wasted going through menus, you know, this helps. So you have your batteries already, manual, and the remote. So here it is, and it's pretty light. So it also keeps that shiny design from the side with the white and black, so I like that it matches pretty well with the device. And you have your YouTube, Netflix, Disney, and Spotify on the bottom, so you can go to any of these easily. You have your mic button down here, so that way you can get anything easily with that as well. And on the bottom right here, you have your PlayStation icon, which is also a button you could press. So this is to turn on the PlayStation if you want to use it as streaming right away and you don't need to go for the controller. So with that aside, I'm going to move on next to the charging dock, and I'll show you a difference also that I noticed between this one and the old charging dock, and what makes this one better in my opinion. So, of course, documentation. We have our power adapter with the power cord and the charging dock. And then, so one, again, this matches the color scheme of the PlayStation. And two, I have the old PlayStation dock right here. And basically, so one, this one takes more space, but I didn't really care about that. But what I cared about more is, if you look at the new one, basically it has like these pins that basically they're not protruding or anything like that. The old one, they would have these pins to where when you click it, so when you put the controller, they go upwards and they have to go inside the controller for it to charge. And you have to do that click motion for it to start charging or not that way. So if you see the old controller right here, you have these two openings on the sides to where the pins go inside of. So usually I'd be afraid of pressing it too hard, that way these pins could break or something like that. So with the new one, and I turned on the PlayStation by mistake. So this is one of my pet peeves with the PlayStation. So if you notice on this side, you see where the button is to turn on the PlayStation? It's right next to the edge. So usually when I click it in, sometimes it would happen to where it would press the button, turn on my PlayStation after I was already done. So I would already have the TV turned off, so I would need to turn on the TV so I could navigate the menu, so I could turn off the PlayStation and then turn off the TV again. And sometimes I do this stupid move again and turn on the PlayStation again. So anyway, I'm glad this is gonna be a thing of the past. And with the new one, it's basically, so you have your button up here, and then when you put it in, it's not as close to the edge as the other one, and you don't need to click it in, so you don't have that like fear of clicking it too hard, and at the same time, since I don't need to click it in, it's not gonna hit that button to turn on the PlayStation. It's basically just, that's it, you know? So simple. Anyway, so you would have the two of them right here, and then just sleek. All right, so with that out of the way, my last thing is I am going to be making another video on the software of the device, and here is some material for me to test it, you know, material. I'm gonna be playing mostly, but with that I'm gonna find out how good the controller is and the actual motors inside it, and basically these new features. So with that I will be able to make another video and tell you about how this holds up to the old one, and if I like it or not, and give you my opinion on that. I know a lot of you out there are having a hard time getting a PlayStation, so knowing beforehand is good. We all are hearing about what's happening with the Xbox, you know. But anyway, stay tuned for that next video, and next video will mostly be dedicated to the software and the controller, and I'll also be making a video on the software of the Xbox as well. And with that, peace. Stop smiling behind the camera.